All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to you, sincere and hopeful elect. Akim that push the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in spirit and in truth. Coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit, and as you can see, this is an article from the New York Times, which reads, Trump withdraws U.S. from World Health Organization. And I believe I'll title this, Trump's actions are isolating America. All right. And with America being isolated, it's being isolated for destruction. Okay. That the actions that, we'll see President Trump, take in 2025 is gonna severely put America pretty much on an island. All right. It's going to put it on an island, secluded and segregated away from the rest of the world. And, ultimately it's going to lead to its destruction. All right. Which we'll get in prophecy, in biblical prophecy. All right. So this is from the New York Times, like I said, and it says public health experts say U.S. withdrawal from the WHO will undermine the nation's standing as a global health leader and make it harder to fight the next pandemic, which, America is not a global health leader. All right. if a true global health leader would be, someone or an entity, promoting and bringing about, true healing. All right. When you look at this, the pandemic that happened in 2019, 2020, America was behind, at the forefront of, pushing that juice. And we see the result, all right, the devastating, deadly result of people being brainwashed, or not even brainwashed, having their minds polluted, should I say, with the belief that they needed to take that jump shot. All right, America was behind, full fledged behind and backing that. Okay, so it's not a global health leader in a true pure sense. Okay, but anywho, it says President Trump moved quickly on Monday to withdraw the United States from the World Health Organization, a move that public health experts say will undermine the nation's standing as a global health leader and make it harder to fight the next pandemic, which they can care less anyways, because, you have a lot of the population here in the U.S. that has woken up to the fact that that pandemic was a bunch of BS. All right, so they can care less about how, in particular, American citizens, look at them being a global leader that's a part of the World Health Organization. It says in an executive order issued about 8 hours after he took the oath of office, Mr. Trump cited a string of reasons for the withdrawal, including the WHO's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic, which, everything in the media is a bunch of lies, man. Watching the news is very frustrating, because everything they push is a bunch of BS. All right. And that's why, we need a new heaven and a new earth. Okay. We need new management, as the beloved elder Yashawamba says from time to time. All right. The earth needs new management, because, lies is just forwarded and promoted, and no one, considers it or is bothered by that, except for the men of the Lord. And then you even have, people who talking heads on the news that promote these lies and whatnot, which they know they're lies. But they just go along with it, and that's, to a righteous man, that's a vexation, man. Okay, so it says, Mr. Trump cited a string of reasons for the withdrawal, including the World Health Organization's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic and the failure to adopt urgently needed reforms. He said the agency demands unfairly onerous payments from the United States and complained that China pays less. All right, and there's more to this article, but that pretty much sums it up. That pretty much sums it up. So the actions that Donald Trump is taking is gonna force America to be isolated away from the rest of the world. This is not the world that he once knew as the 45th president. Before Biden took office. Trump was the president then, but this is a totally different world. Okay. And the actions and the steps he's taking in the he's only been in office a couple of days, but he thinks that this place is gonna go back to them good old days. All right, but that's not gonna happen. All right, he's gonna be immensely upset. All right, so let's get this here. And matter of fact, real quick, this is Nahum, the first chapter, verse 9. All right, because the Latin tribes, in particular, the Northern Kingdom, the so-called illegals that have come here to the Americas are targets. All right, there's many illegals that have come to the Americas, but the main individuals that's going to be targeted for deportation is the Israelites. Okay, you had East Indians, you had Pakistanis, you had Iranians, Syrians, Turks, Chinese. Okay, you've had actual Africans, Hamites. You've had everything, cross over the border into America illegally the last couple of years. But the main target of this deportation process that's going to be taking place here in America is Israelites. Okay. And as it says here in Nahum 1:9, it says, "What do ye imagine against Yahweh? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time." And we know that Esau wants to afflict the nation of Israel and ultimately have Israelites in some type of form of captivity. All right. Which we know, according to prophecy, that RFID chip, okay, that which is a mark of the beast, the MOTB, we understand that that's going to be made mandatory and pretty much force on the population, the U.S. population, the real population, but speaking about Babylon the Great in particular. So the so-called immigrants, could be targeted to receive that MOTB, and via doing that, you're an American citizen, or you're allowed to stay in America and work and whatnot. Okay, that's an option that could be thrown out there. Okay, but unknowingly, the Israelites that don't know the scriptures, they could, be caught up in that, and that's going to cause them to be put to death. Okay, but ultimately, that's a form of captivity. All right, being microchipped, and what have you. Okay, because we know that those chips emit radiation, so you're pretty much, microwaving yourself if you take one of those. All right, as it says in Revelation, that it's going to be a a grievous sore, on those individuals that take that. Okay, so jumping back to Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 13, it says, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. So the time's coming, on the day of the Lord, when the planet Earth itself is going to shake, very, very vehemently. Okay, and that's going to, indicate the fierce anger that the Lord has. Okay, it says, and it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Okay, so reading this in the NLT, verse 14, it says, everyone in Babylon will run about like a hunted gazelle, like sheep without a shepherd. They will try to find their own people and flee to their own land. And this is what's going to happen with all this, rhetoric and threats and signing of executive orders, that Trump is stating, and the things he's doing is going to cause people to pretty much flee America, man. This place is a sinking ship, and as the scriptures say, there'll be no work for Egypt. All right, jobs is hard to come by. The economy sucks. This economy sucks. All right, and it's only gonna get worse. Rapidly, it's gonna get rapidly worse. Okay, so you already have Latin tribes, Northern Kingdom immigrants, so-called immigrants that the day before, even before Trump got in office, they started self-deporting themselves. All right, self-deportation. They, started walking back to, Central and South America. Okay, but while people have the opportunity, as I see these other nations that are here so-called illegally, or even here legally, when they see the rapid decline that America is going to be faced with, a lot of them is going to take the opportunity to go back to their native countries, while they have the opportunity to do so. All right. Verse 15, it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. All right. So, the time is coming when, it's going to be all bad for Esau. All right. Because you have these sleeper cells that have, crossed over to this country illegally, that's waiting for orders to, carry out certain attacks, all right, on the Babylonian population. Okay. It says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Okay. Let me see. Verse 17, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right. So the Medes, all right, in the ancient world were Japhites. Okay. Currently, the Medes would be the so-called Russians. All right. So we see how Trump he's threatened Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, with sanctions if he doesn't end that war in Ukraine. Okay, now, like I said earlier, this ain't the days of old. Where America, whatever president is in position of power can say something, and the rest of the world obeys it. Okay, um, this ain't them times, man. Okay, so we see how the actions America is taking is causing. It's gonna cause everybody to hate this place. Okay, it says the bulls also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So when the Russians, when they push that button to shoot those nukes, they ain't gonna give a shit about there's infants over there that have just been born. All right, there's old people uh, that have they're in a hospice, or the hospital. There's people on in a hospital, on breathing machines and things of that nature. They're not gonna give a shit about that. The same way uh, the small hats over in the land of Israel, can care less about the the so-called Palestinians. They destroyed every hospital in Gaza. Every hospital in Gaza has been destroyed. All right. So the same way that they didn't care, they don't care. These Medes ain't gonna care either. All right. The other nations aren't gonna care about uh the family structure and things of that nature when they push the button. All right, and shoot those thermonuclear missiles over here. Verse 19, it says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So the same way Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, and today, when you look at that region, nothing grows there. All right, they've done tests on the soil, and there's high levels of sulfur, which proves that that place was burnt to the point that you know uh, nothing grows, man. Okay, so that's gonna be the outcome of America after the thermonuclear missiles from these other nations are shot over here. All right, verse 20, it says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Okay, so these other nations, such as the Arabians, the Ishmael, or the people of the Middle East, they're not gonna how you see them here in America. A little side tangent. Something that always tripped me out was you know Ishmael, the Arabs, come from a hot climate, um, a hot desert climate. But what always tripped me out was you got certain places in America on the East Coast, the Midwest, where it gets cold as hell. You got large populations of Arabs up in places like Minnesota and Indiana, and places in the Midwest where it gets cold, and East Coast and whatnot. All right, so the Arabians is scattered all around America, and once this place is destroyed by that fire, when the fire subsides, and naturally, you won't have any nation but the Arabians in particular that's gonna have aspirations to come here to America and start over again, build a 7-Eleven, or try and take over the bodegas from the Puerto Ricans or anything like that. Okay. Verse 21, it says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and the owls shall dwell there, and the satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So the time for America's destruction is approaching, man. All right, and when this place is destroyed, the only thing that's going to be able to exist here and live here, once that fire goes out, like I said, is going to be those desert-like creatures that the Most High created to be able to survive in uh, desert climates. Okay. Uh, Next, this is let me see. I had these precepts queued up, but for some reason my phone is tripping. All right, Nahum 3. Let me see. All right, this is Nahum 3 and 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And the nations and around the world are actually, they're seeing the nakedness and the shame of America. The bravado and the arrogance and the pride that Donald Trump is displaying is going to have, not going to, but it has these nations looking at America like, shit, how dare y'all? This, like I said, this ain't the old days, man. Okay, these nations is tired of America's hegemony and its bullying. It's arrogance, it's pride, it's stupidity. Let's not forget that the Americans are the dumbest people on the planet Earth. Okay, and these nations is tired of that. The witchcraft of you can be more than a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be a damn cat or a dog or a hyena or whatever you want to be. You can be that in America. All right. Which that in itself, Trump just signed an executive order on that as well, to where there's only two genders here in America. All right. So just the confusion that America promotes and pushes out for these other nations to follow suit with, the nations, they tired of that shit, man, because they realize the democracy that America set forth, they don't abide by it themselves, and that shit don't work. Okay, so these nations, they are seeing the nakedness and the filthiness and the lewdness of America. All right, they're seeing America's shame. Verse 6, it says, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste. All right, and Nineveh is America today. America, the same principles and ideologies and witchcraft and whoredoms and attributes of ancient kingdoms that were wicked, such as Babylon the Great, Egypt, Nineveh. All right, things of those type kingdoms. America draws spiritually and physically, draws certain tidbits from all those kingdoms. All right, and it has incorporated it into Babylon the Great. Okay, what we see today. It says verse 7, it says, and it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? Whence shall I seek comforters for her? So once again, America is isolating itself to the point that when this place is destroyed, there's nobody that's gonna mourn for this place, and there's not gonna be a nation that's gonna want to comfort this place. All right, because everything here is going to be gone. The people included. There will be nobody left here to comfort. You know, when the smoke clears and the fire subsides, it ain't gonna be no one some snotty nose uh, uh, little brother and sister, Edomite brother and sister that is gonna repopulate uh, uh, the population of America again. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna read verse 7 in the NLT. It says, "All who see you shall shrink back and say, Nineveh lies in ruins. Where are the mourners? Does anyone regret your regret your destruction?" Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's beautiful. Hey, there's nobody that's gonna regret America's destruction. Okay. Um. So let me grab Revelation 17, verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Now, those 10 horns upon the beast is referring to NATO. All right, NATO and the EU. Now, you got NATO nations uh that are part of that WHO, the World Health Organization. All right. Um and those EU nations, there's something that Trump is gonna do that's gonna cause them to hate this place. All right. To hate this place and assist in its destruction by, shooting off whatever missiles, they have that have the ability to reach America. All right. So once again, "and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast." Okay, so eventually what's going to happen is those NATO nations is going to unanimously agree to pretty much, relinquish power to NATO, because NATO is the military force, of those European nations. All right, certain of those European nations. So they're all gonna, pretty much allow NATO, their military, to shoot missiles on this place. All right, and like we read in Nahum, who's gonna regret the destruction of America? Them NATO nations ain't. Okay. Uh, Verse 17 again, it says, "For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High should be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." All right, and that's talking about America. Okay, and hey, for one, who wants a woman ruling over them? That's all you have here in America is women being, propped up on pedestals, ruling over men. All right, and that sickness, that plague, that disease, is spread to all these other nations. Okay, but America will be hit with that nuclear fire from these other nations. All right. And lastly, let me grab Jeremiah 50 and verse 12. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded." Matter of fact, let me go up here. It says prophecy against Babylon, a message about Babylon. So this is referring to Babylon, aka Babylon the Great. Okay. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. All right, and the hindermost of the nations is referring to America. But here, where it says your mother um, shall be sore confounded is referring to and she that bear you shall be ashamed is referring to Great Britain, because America, it is spawned from Great Britain. All right, so even the British is gonna hate this place. All right, is gonna be ashamed of this place. All right, now they're not part of the EU anymore. All right, they had the Brexit a couple years ago. They had I want to say in like 2017 they had the Brexit where they exited um um the EU. But nevertheless, America did spawn from Great Britain. Okay, so let me see. Let's grab this from Revelation 17 real quick, and we'll wrap it up. Revelation 17. Let me see. Okay, Revelation 17 and 11. It says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is of the eighth, and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition." Okay, so you had the beast, which is pretty much the revived Roman Empire. Okay, that was and is not, even he is of the eighth, and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition, because the seventh was the British Empire, and America being the eighth came from the British, all right, the British Empire. Okay, but as it says, the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, because America is going into destruction. All right, it's going to be destroyed. All right, as the scriptures say. All right, verse 12, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." Now, you got those European nations, all right, that have initially it was 10 nations that made up the EU. At the time that it was formed, they were referred to as the ECC, the European Economic EEC, European Economic Community, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but over time it grew to, the amount of EU members that they have now. Okay, but that beast, as it says, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, is talking about NATO. NATO is that beast that they're going to receive power with, as we read in Revelation, that they gave their power to the beast. Verse 13, "These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." So there's going to come a point in time when those European Union nations is going to side with NATO wholeheartedly, and make that executive decision on pushing that button and getting America up out of here. All right, so I just want to bring that out, man. Everything that Donald Trump is doing, going warp speed with his executive orders, and pretty much unraveling of what has been pretty much enacted as far as certain laws here in America, is going to lead to this place being ostracized and pretty much segregated from the rest of the world. All right, to the point to where people want to realize that the problem with the planet Earth is America. All right, and it needs to be, pretty much the trash needs to be taken out. So Abaratazah, that was an edifying lesson. Until next time, I say shalom.